Hey, Jamin, this is Adrian Gomez. Thanks so much for sending this in. We're going to get into this real quick. So out of your back leg, you're squatting pretty well. So you hold yourself pretty well down on that back side, but I want you to look at this. I want you to look at how your knee functions. Your knee delays over that ankle, but then it pushes through a little bit. I want you. It collapses a little bit, but not much. And I think that you can hold this a little bit more firm, that knee a little bit more firm on that backside to be able to push the last second. So as far as power to the back leg, you can look at this right here before you throw the ball. Right. Your back leg's not on the ground. So it does, it needs to be able to function a little bit better than that. Let's look at it from this side. You push, and that kind of collapses before you throw the ball. So that is definitely going to take some power out of the back leg. I think you might be slipping a little bit on the front foot, but other than that, I think it's pretty good. So let's get into the next one. The double angle. You have enough extension. I think you're driving far enough, 112 degrees. But your front knee has to accept all this force, and so you're about 130 degrees. It actually goes down past that. So let's get this ball in here, right here. $115. So that right there, my friend, is why the back leg is flipping over. This front knee needs to stabilize, and that's why this back leg is kind of collapsing at the last second and flopping over, because all of that back energy is now going from your back leg into your front leg and into the ground, and not in the ball. So that's something that we need to fix. So that's a front leg, both the angle, and let's look at the external rotation here. So you're about to plant. I think you're slipping a little bit. I don't think your knee moves too much. So I don't think you have an externally rotated front knee, or internally rotated front knee, I mean. But that front knee angle is definitely something that you need to improve on. So huge improvement needs to be made there, and I think that's like 3 or 4 miles an hour, bro. Like that's a big jump in velocity. All right, so let's get into posture. So at release point, and this would be an A posture, this would be a B posture, this would be a C posture. So you're a B posture, and that's what your arm slot is. So we want you to stay true to that. So let's look at how your leg functions. So I'm coming up, and then as I'm going down, I'm getting into that. So I want to minimize that head movement a little bit. So as you come up, I'm talking maybe just a few inches. If you can get your head back a little bit further. So let's say your head started at that line and you would go from here to here. So maybe that's 6 inches as opposed to a foot. And that, what happens is when you change your spine, your axis of your spine, you also decrease the rotation. All that energy is going to go into that front knee and out in the ground, not in the baseball. So that's something that you can definitely just lock in. Maybe start back a little bit further, not crazy amounts, but like an inch to lean back a little bit, and that'll reduce your head movement. All right, let's get into release point. I think your release point is right. It's quite a bit. It's hard to see on this one. I'm missing like a frame right here, right between here and there. But based off of this, I think you'd probably be more marginal, just based off of your front knee. And if your front knee comes back, then your chest will go forward, which will create a better release point out in front. So those are kind of correlated. The front knee, both the front lead block, but then also your chest extension, and then your back leg also needs to be firm so that you can provide support to your chest. So if your chest is out here, and your leg is down and supported and firm, then you can throw that ball a lot further past your front foot, especially when that front foot comes back, or front knee comes back. So definitely the lower half will affect your upper half, and we're already seeing that with the release point. So we fix the lower half, and then we shore up a lot of our upper body problems due to the kinetic chain. So as we load, we're going to go back to stacking, and I think that you could stack a little bit better. I think your lower half's pretty good. Like I said, you squat pretty well enough. But your upper body, your head needs to stay over that rubber for a little bit longer. And on top of that, I think that you separate that ball out of glove a little bit early. You haven't even stepped yet, and you're already starting to separate before your arm comes down. So I'd hold on to that ball a little bit longer, just a little bit, and that head needs to stay a little bit longer over that rubber for a longer period of time. I think that's going to help stabilize that back knee and delay that so that you can push a lot later. Because right now you want to be able to shove that hip through, but it's not able to because of the front knee, but then also the back leg. So stacking, definitely something I want you to look at too. Keeping your upper body back, that's going to be huge. All right. Let's see. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. We're going to look at front glove here. Let's look at what your front glove looks like. It looks pretty good. As you go out, you're pinching into that, and you're initializing that rotation with that firm front glove. It looks pretty good. It looks okay. The only thing I'd change right here, you do a good job. You're going to start pinching this way into that shoulder blade. Good. And then now it's going down a little bit, but I think the shoulder blade's supported. It looks good, and that's going to help you shove that chest through. So that's great. I think you do a good job. I don't think that's a weakness. Let's see here. We're going to look at your elbow, your high elbow here. Elbow's in a good place here. Elbow's a little bit lower into that. Let's see here. Take a measurement off of both of your shoulders. I don't think you have an elbow issue. I think it looks pretty good. You're able to drive. I really think that lower body is really making you slow in your upper body. That front knee needs to stabilize and lock out a lot better. And when you do that, you're really going to be able to rotate that much faster. So no high elbow. I think you're safe there. I think you're healthy. We're going to get into chest extension. I think this is something that you can get really good at. So right now you're 26 degrees, and I think there's a huge difference between where you could be and where you're at now. And that's going to increase your velocity a ton. So front knee needs to block a little bit better, stabilize, and then you're at 26 degrees. Let's get you. $26, and I'd like you to be at 50. So what needs to happen is this front knee needs to come back, and that chest needs to go over. If you can do those two things, learn how to stabilize the front leg, and then shove that chest on top and lead with your chest. I think you do it pretty good, but see how you go out? We'll talk about that next. But that chest extension really needs to improve. Probably another 24 degrees. It looks like it's, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches. It's not a ton, but when that front knee, comes back and makes room, then all of a sudden, then you have some ability to work a little bit. All right, last thing I got for you, and I think that this is going to help a lot. I think a lot of it has to do with that front knee. But as you lay back right here, that arm goes outside of that elbow. Instead of going through. We want all of our energy to go forward, 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 hips going forward, chest going forward. Knee needs to come back because that's your break, but everything needs to go forward, including the wrist. And right now your wrist is going outside the elbow as opposed to going through the elbow. Same with your chest. Your chest needs to go through and over your front knee, not around it. And that's kind of what you're doing. You're going around it. I want to go through that with your chest. So that's something that you can definitely improve on. This is what we call an arm fly out. I just want to reduce it a little bit, like right there. Just reduce it, push that wrist through a little bit faster so it doesn't have time to fly out. That's going to help a ton. And I know it's going to improve your velocity. So as far as that, I think that's about it. There's some definite weaknesses, but those turn into miles an hour. So if you can do that, that's really going to help you improve quite quickly. So let me know how it goes, and I'd love to hear about your progress, and don't hesitate to contact me. Thanks so much.